Oh no! Don't do the clap.
What?
Oh shit!
Why not? You gotta do the clap, right?
You did too. Oh god.
I did. Thanks for joining another episode of Playing the Artist. This is a weekly web show, a line stolen straight from One Fantastic Week. We just talk about being artists, trying to be artists, playing the artists, and trying to figure out this thing. That's art. My name is Antoine Marchildon. Joined as always is the handsome, charismatic.
Go on.
Me.
Huh? Oh.
That's stupid. That's a stupid joke. No, and Alex. Alex is here. Alex, how was your weekend?
It was great. Thanks for the introduction. Was my weekend great? I just sort of said it was great. I'm trying to think if it actually was great. I did play a little bit of Shenmue, so that was good. I always like when that happens. And aside from that, it was a pretty good weekend. I didn't like go and drink or anything, so I like those weekends.
You don't really drink.
I drink at like events. That's kind of my thing now. It's like if there's like a work event or something,
Yeah.
some sort of occasion like that, that's when I kind of do it. Otherwise, I try not to because it's just a waste of time right now, you know? But if I go to like Gen Con or PAX or something, then it's another story. It's usually the entire convention every night. Somehow I find the energy. Like right now, I just don't have the energy, man.
Yes, good morning. Getting any work done?
That's a good question. I did. Yeah, I made some. So yeah, I've been working on. I showed it last week. My whole magazine, my mini magazine project, and I did some more. I got another page done there, but I think like instead of waiting until I'm completely done the whole thing, I'm thinking about releasing like a page a week, and then kind of just stretching it out. And like right now, I've got
a week where
just on my Facebook.
Okay.
I kind of have like because it's really common for like you've heard of like Screenshot Saturday, maybe for indie games and
Screenshot
whatnot.
Saturday.
Have you heard of that?
Nope.
So it's like on Facebook and even Instagram too, maybe even Twitter. I think it's like if you're an indie game, every Saturday you got to post something, right? You got to post some kind of like screenshot of your game. But a lot of like businesses on Facebook that are like artistic in nature, they take it one step further and they'll pick a day, and that'll be sort of their big update day where they'll like say, okay, here's the weekly recap, and it's the same time every week, and yeah, there's some imagery there, something like that. So it's like, hey, I'm alive, I'm here, this is what we're doing. Even though so that way, even if you don't have something like necessarily to like some promotional shot, it's like you're kind of updating everybody and staying in communication. So it's kind of like a little mini press release, maybe, if you were to, I don't know, compare it to like some sort of big business.
No, I like it. I like it. I think you should do that every week. Yeah, that's good.
It just means that means I do have to create a page for my magazine every week, or maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just making up that rule for myself, but it would be nice. But then you're just spending a lot of time on that. It's like it's easy to make a page when you have a lot of content, but if I didn't have a big backlog of content, then it wouldn't be so easy to make a page a week. Because I did that page this week, but I still had time to do some other stuff, like getting back into character work and trying to finish old projects that I had bailed at like around, the 85% complete mark, just because I got inspired. Not because I didn't like the idea, just because I get inspired to do something else,
Fair enough.
So what was your week? What did you do?
I can safely say that I'm 10.5 models away from finishing the models.
Damn, dude, you have like
that makes sense.
An insane amount of models in this Kickstarter.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. Yeah.
You're gonna have like 100 models.
No, we've talked about this, I think. Oh, no, I talked about this with Amanda.
Mm.
No, I'll have about like, I think almost 80. I think about 80, I think.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's not 100.
No.
It'll be actually very close with the test prints. I'm not counting the test prints.
Test prints. So you mean like
Samples.
something on Thingiverse? Yeah. It's like here.
Yeah, I haven't released the samples yet, but those will be released. Yeah, and I'm getting sick. That's fun. So don't worry. I'm sure it won't transfer through this through StreamYard.
Yeah.
But
I hope it's better in time for your flight, because
me
if it's
too.
not, it's just going to get worse. You're going to be in a tuna can at 1,000 feet from in the air or whatever, and then there's going to be other people who are sick because it's that time of year, and you're just going to get like something else.
Shit.
And you're going to be shitting yourself in that tiny little bathroom, and then there's going to be like they're going to run out of those little tiny, the thinnest toilet paper you've ever seen in your life, that you can basically hold it up to the light and see through it.
Don't say that.
All the way to Saskatchewan. How far is that? That's like got to be 3 or 4 hour flight at least.
I got to go to Edmonton first and do a layover.
Oh, is it long?
It's like the flight's an hour to Edmonton, and then the layover's 2 hours.
That's 2 hours, yeah. So.
And then the flight till Edmonton to Saskatchewan, that's like another hour right there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, good layover time is like 1 hour, because it means you can get to your next gate, comfortably. Mm-hmm. Anything less than an hour is like you kind of got to rush because they board you a little early and stuff.
I've done that before.
Sucks. And then, and if any flights are delayed by a little bit, it's like, oh my god,
that does happen.
Isn't bad.
But I think, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the weather's down there. Like Saskatchewan, they didn't get too much snow, but that was the same thing last year. And I think last year there was some problems with the plane and stuff. But things happen.
Yeah, last time I flew to visit my folks, it was just myself. It was like I brought my laptop because I thought, if I get stuck in the airport, I'll just be productive. And sure enough, there was I think I had a couple hours to kill, like in like some airport somewhere, like just a layover, like you said. And so I pulled my laptop out and I started doing work, and I was in the groove, and I fucking almost missed my flight, because you start doing work and you're like just get carried away and you lose track of what time it is.
You should have put a timer on you.
I know.
I built this little shitty stand. I had to put
cool.
Whatever sticky tack, and it just sits in front of my computer, so I can prop up my phone with a timer. So when it rings, I could see it go off as well if my music's like a little too loud in a certain point or whatever.
Yeah.
So I put a timer for because I don't want to sit too long, because I feel if I sit too long, it like kind of jeopardizes the possibility to keep going. You know what I mean? You ever get that where you sit down for too long and then you're like, ugh, and you're like, don't feel like working anymore, kind of thing. Like you don't feel as energetic. I feel like an hour or an hour and a half sprints. You know what I mean? And then you walk around, get up and kind of stretch and drink water and do other stuff or eat something, and then then fool around on YouTube, and then I'm like, okay, I'll go back to work now. I go back to work for another whatever, and I find a new playlist. Zach.
Yeah. So you're working to music. You're not working to podcasts. I guess we talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this, where it's like, well, I try to do podcasts when I'm really doing something that's not as creative.
The tedious work. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of work that I do that's on the fly creation. It's not like I have to do 1-to-1. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
1-to-1. No.
Well, 1-to-1. Like if I was making a semi truck. Like
Uh-huh.
the semi truck is like, well, the reference is already there, and so like I just have to like follow the reference. So I could get away with.
You don't have any concept art or anything. You're
Exactly.
designing on the fly, which is very like you're fully engaged.
I do have reference up, right?
Yeah.
But that's just a reference where it's like, okay, there's this shape. I'm gonna use this shape, and then from that shape, I'll build off of that, and then I'll like look at another shape from the same picture or a different picture, and I'll like add that in, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, I have a brief idea, like in my head, like, okay, I want to make this thing. I'm not quite sure what it is, so it's kind of like this little, I don't know, algorithm that's happening in front of me. That I'm trying to figure out. Like it's like a math problem that I'm trying to figure out, and I'm just like throwing geometry at it and like shapes and trying to like get something interesting. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I have like my little like tricks in a hat. So it's like there's my go-to like shapes, you know what I mean? And then there's like well, I need something a little different, so I'll start like fooling around with certain shapes. So it's like I have to stop saying like so much. No.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Oh, there you go.
No, but I used it in a sentence. I didn't use it as a thought provoking
Sure.
regurgitator device.
Yeah. But
so okay.
Does that make sense? What I'm trying to throw down?
I stopped listening. I'm kind of scrolling Kickstarter. I'm checking out like projects that are like art projects. They're not even games. They're just like I drew a bunch of pictures in a book and just seeing like what the successful ones are doing.
We should have a program. We should have a segment in the show where it's like One Fantastic Week recaps or something.
Oh yeah, where we just
we just repeat some stuff that was cool about that episode.
Well, I think it's fair to cite other podcasts and then comment on what they're doing. I would say
cite other professionals, which that's who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but you do. I do think you kind of have to like add something of your own.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which I'm not saying we do that.
Oh no, definitely not.
We're pretty good at regurgitating.
What was her name? Abby, the one girl that did all the witchy stuff from One Fantastic Week?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I couldn't confirm or deny that name.
There's this other podcast that no one knows. It's One Fantastic Week. It's amazing. Go watch it. They do mentorships, and they had this one mentorship of this young lady. I forget her name. We're just gonna call her Abby. Sorry, Abby. That's probably not your name. But she does these cute little witchy kind of, gothic kind of, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, she did a tarot playing card deck. If you're not familiar with that, I'm not going to explain it. A tarot playing card deck.
Yeah.
And she did a Kickstarter, and she was just making her first Kickstarter. It was a tiny little thing, and she generated, I think, like $60,000 American. You know what I mean? So, like, good on her. Like, she fucking knocked it out of the park. And I was, I've nothing to really add. I'm just like so fucking impressed with like she first started off with like, I don't know, like maybe like 1,000 followers, and then she like grew it up to 10,000 followers on the grams, and then she's like, oh, I'm just gonna do a Kickstarter. It's gonna be a little one. I'm not expecting too much, just like to test the waters, and then bam.
Dude, the art book game is like, I don't know, I guess, it's like hard to put yourself in a consumer's shoes. I feel like I just don't totally see the appeal of just buying a book
Pete
of
said
art.
Pete said it the most, man. It's like you are not your target audience. You're not the person buying your stuff.
Yeah.
You're a server, right? So you're serving up your skill and the thing that you enjoy doing, where it's like, hey, look at this stuff, I'm serving it, and then please buy it,
Yeah, man. I
So
just think if I ever have a successful like project of some kind someday, if I'm ever, a success, even mildly, I'm gonna make an art book and just fucking throw it up on because like they do okay. They don't do bad. I mean, they don't do great.
yeah, but that means you have to do artwork.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what are you, man? You're doing 3D models for 3D printing, and then you're doing tiles, and then you're doing cards for
Yeah,
weapons, and then you're doing this magazine, and you're doing playmats. Like, what's the deal?
I just like it all. If any one of those things was like my
I like it.
full-time
I
job,
like
I'd
a
be
lot of
happy.
things. I like a lot of things too, but come on, man, got to pick a little bit of a lane. You got to stay in the lane for a little longer.
No, not yet. Not yet. I think if I had like the pressure of like the oh shit, I don't have income and I need to fucking get serious here and do it, I think I would pick one of those things. And
Kind of like what I'm doing.
yeah, I think it'd be a lot easier to like, okay, because you're like,
I got 2 years. I better fucking make it count.
yeah, I better actually like, but I'm still like, whoa, there I go. The whole goal of this is like to pick the thing that you want to do that because you're doing it for you, otherwise, you're not working for somebody else, you're doing your own idea. So I'm like, what do I want to do? And then I think, oh, I really want to do this. At least I want to try this. And you ever think about things that later on in life that you'll say, I wish I did a project like this. And like all these things that I'm doing now, I'm trying now, are things that I felt were on that list of like, I'd like to do this someday. Like I'd like to try to do this someday and like kind of gain experience and say that I was a part of a project like that. And it's like you don't have control over what projects you're exposed to. So I kind of need to kind of like do this myself. I need to take it upon myself to create like a reason to make this stuff. Like the maps, like drawing a map, like a fun map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like no one at work is gonna ask me to do that. I'm sure there's people out there in the world who would want me to do it for like $50, if even without experience. But I don't know. You might as well just do it for free for yourself at that point. So that's where I'm kind of at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just wish I had the time to continue to do them all because you start to like uncover little like interests, right? You're like, oh, I'm kind of interested, and then I start following other people on Pinstagram, both Pinterest and Instagram, and you're like, you start to really build a, I don't know what to say, just like an appreciation, I guess, for that kind of art that you didn't have before. But you're glad you have it now because you're not just scrolling through the same old fucking bullshit 3D model updates by other artists. Hope you like it. Spent 50 hours on this dragon head bust. It's real time dragon head bust. It's like your feed gets, especially in 2019, your feed gets narrowed down so quickly because it's an echo chamber of just like marketing shit to you that you've talked about or already searched for. So you're bound to you're just going to go down the laser tight hole.
I think Google's selling information to Facebook, and Facebook's doing the same thing because I remember I was I came across just some like Star Wars, some Star Trek Next Generation clips, and I just started clicking them, and I was just watching them. I was like, these are kind of interesting. It's these old, TV show that I grew up with as a kid. You know what I mean? Like I was never into it, but it was like around. It was very popular when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And for some reason, right away, I started getting like clips and images from Star Trek stuff in my phone, and so it's just like, what the fuck? How did that happen?
Yeah, because like Google has this like broad like knowledge of what the masses are into right now. What are your trends and like what is this person like Googling? And then Facebook has like really detailed knowledge about people because it's basically a microscope on their lives, right? Everything that they post. But Facebook doesn't doesn't know like what porn you watch, for example. Whereas
Yeah, I
Google
didn't have to
does.
say that out loud, but all right.
There's just things Google know that Facebook doesn't.
No, for sure. But what was I going to say? On YouTube, if you kind of watch a clip of a movie or a TV show, or you watch a person reviewing a movie or talking about it, at the bottom of YouTube, there's a thing that's like movies, where it's like you can rent movies on YouTube. When you press that, there'll be a recommendation area, and the recommendation will be the things that you've clicked on or you've watched that had the movie that was like tagged in the video. And I think they sell that information to Instagram somehow or something. I don't know.
Well, Instagram and Facebook probably just, I mean, they're the same thing. So I don't know how deeply they because they're still, even though they're owned by the same company, they're still siloed.
Facebook isn't owned by Google. Google did.
No, Instagram and Facebook are.
The same. I'm talking YouTube, Instagram.
YouTube to Instagram, yeah, that's
those
right.
are two different companies.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, so you got like your YouTube searches synced up with your Instagram.
Yeah, they're very close. They're very close.
That's interesting because you probably aren't. I mean, I guess you are watching some YouTube that's like has to do with your Instagram, but your Instagram is like so focused, whereas YouTube is kind of like broadly just whatever you want to watch, and you have interest in things that have nothing to do with Dungeons.
It's just clicks, right? It's just like whatever's tagged with that initial thing, then they just gets spread out like a spider web. Right.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched a video, you subscribed to a video like 2 years ago, but you haven't watched one recently, it kind of falls out of your feed, even though you're still subscribed to it.
You subscribe to a channel, old man.
No, yeah, I am an old man. Subscribe to a video. So yeah, you have to kind of keep up on it. Sometimes I'll look at old channels that I've subscribed to. And they still make content. They're just not there. They just don't show up for me, and I have to go in and like click on them again a few times.
No, you got to click the bell.
Damn bell.
I don't want to click the bell. I don't want to get notifications. I don't want to be. I'm kind of a what is it? I was gonna say Kermit, but Kermit is a green frog. I was gonna say Grouch. I'm kind of a Grouch where it's like, or curmudgeon. That's what it is. Where it's like, don't bother me. I'll get to you when I want to. You know what I mean? And, and then I get all upset if I don't get a reminder or I forget why did it show up on
you remind me? Yeah. Well, you can in Chrome you can turn off those little pop-ups that show up in the bottom right corner, which is something I did.
Yeah.
I found out and I did it because holy crow! Every time I go down to click on something in the corner or check the time, it's like 3 of these. I followed this one guy who's like a wildlife. He kind of does nature walks, and he always has cool tips. This is how you tie a knot. This is how you sharpen a knife and do it out in the wild, on wild rocks and stuff. And
you get notifications besides your clock.
He makes a video every single day, man.
That's the algorithm.
And then those little rectangles pop up in the corner of your.
Yeah, I don't get that. I never got that.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, that's good then. Because it's highly annoying. Are you using Chrome? I don't know.
Yeah, of course. I use Chrome.
Yeah.
I use Chrome.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Damn, dude. I'm getting these belches directly into my ears. When it's in person, it's there's a room that's a distance away, but it's no, you have you wear headphones to become more immersed in things. So now I feel your belch has surrounded my.
Sorry, I apologize.
It's all good.
Damn, dude. Sorry, I'm just low energy because of just I'm just like I said, I'm a little sick.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
after this, I'm just gonna crawl back into bed and just not move. And then if I need to, I'm just gonna get up and eat oranges and garlic and.
You're gonna really attack that cold you got.
Yeah. What else? I've been taking Oregano oil. That's what it is. Oregano
Oh
oil.
yeah, that's another potent one. That's like an old Italian trick.
Is it a trick?
I think so. I never did it as a child, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
But,
So, should I? Do you want to talk about my topic of the week, or do you want? Yeah, I guess we're already halfway through this thing.
yeah,
I think if we talk about the topic, and then maybe we talk about recommendations or something, and then I'll ask you where I can find you. That should eat up half an hour, and then you can go back to bed.
We'll see.
Well, you got a kombucha there? Oh, that's just a bottle of water. It's
Yeah.
probably better. Just drink the water.
Yeah, liquids.
So yeah. Oh, go ahead. Before I you.
Before I you. Nah, I'm just fucking excited to get this Kickstarter done that I'm working on and see what happens and whatnot, and try to test it out. But you know what? I'm totally gonna do a fucking, like, after I do this Kickstarter, I'm totally gonna do a Patreon thing. Like,
do it. Well, that's what Danny did, right? Like, he did his Kickstarter and then he started a Patreon shortly thereafter.
Yeah, but he had a following regardless. The Kickstarter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think your
a pretty big.
You can never get it started too early unless you have to
fix it or whatever. Anyways, I just need to like release some models for the fantasy community, for the D&D community, and
you had that one that did pretty well. That platform,
the platform and the archway.
Yeah,
it did amazing.
A lot of people downloading that.
They were. I had to take it down because too many people were downloading it. I was like, well, I'm going to sell this later, so I better not give it out for free. It's too popular.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I released some rocks on the weekend, by the way, on Thingiverse, and they did all right. People liked them, and
cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I'm gonna barrel in to a Patreon thing, and then work on a website as well after this Kickstarter. So that's like my New Year's plans, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you should do, dude. I think you should just like make weapons and put them on and have a Patreon where it's like, well, you get my weapons, my cards, whatever, and then make cool ideas where it's like, there's this one guy I follow where he's like has these weapon ideas for his cards, and they're pretty interesting. Where they're like, for example, where it's like, excuse me, it's like roll a d6, and if you hit 4, it doubles or whatever. You know what I mean? So he puts like backstory, and he writes like a little story about the weapon, and he puts like a little quirk, like a little quirky thing that happens when you use the weapon, or maybe there's like I don't know. It'd be cool if there was like it'd be cool if there was like a skeleton sword, and like every time you rolled a 6, you made a what is it? You made a skeleton would fight for you, and if you rolled a 1, you get a skeleton that would try to kill you. You know, just like really fun, like little tiny little, I don't know, like little
that would be fun
items, or like it's like, oh, drink this magic potion. It's like roll a dice. It's like either you get wings or you become a snail. You know, just retarded things like that. Sorry, you can't say that word. But you know what I mean? Like, I think if you did something like that, that'd be cool. Because I know you like making those weapons.
Awesome idea.
I know you like making those weapons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a cool idea, man. I like the idea. Like you roll a d10. You're summoning something. You don't know what it is. It could be like a little pig, or it could be like a dope dragon thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're rolling a d20, so that way you can get natural 20, get the dragon. Roll a 1, get like a worm, or like something that I guess fights you instead.
It it wouldn't be like a sword or anything. It would have to be like some sort of like one-time use thing. Like you can make those too. You can make one-time use items too, which would be
I think
really fun.
those are more. I think those, like you can have more fun with one-time use because it doesn't really matter how broken it is because you only get to use it one time.
Yeah.
Like I thought about one item that's like it's like a skeleton key ring, and then whatever key you put on this ring will open any door, but that key will be destroyed after you use it one time.
That's really cool. That's actually really
like,
cool. I like that.
It's kind of I'm just going to steal your other idea because it's something I've been thinking about. Like
bastard.
More I can do with these.
Hey man, if you do a Patreon and you just start pumping out weapons and items in like card format and like do that for like a solid year, I'll keep coming up ideas for you. I'll keep giving you ideas if you did that.
There we go. I don't want to do. I think that there's a trap there because I've seen people. It's like there's a lot of people who've made item D&D Kickstarters and going the volume route. Like I don't think it's as. It's not like creating a library of 3D models where it's like more is better and it's like you have this library that's really useful because you're kind of creating that story. I think like if you have a card deck of like 700 cards, I think it can be overwhelming because I've seen those ones fail and the card art isn't terrible. Like it looks, close to like the one I saw. I don't even remember the name of it.
You said a deck of 700 cards?
700 magical items was like
dude, that's way. I think that'd be like that's like because 100 cards is like that. You know what I mean? And so that means you're gonna have like that's like that many fucking cards. That's a lot of fucking cards, dude.
I think if you had like a dozen,
and then you sleeve them too, and then it gets even thicker.
See, I want to do things that are like it would be nice.
If you do, sorry to cut you off. If you do release a deck of cards, make it a nice round number. Make it like 50, but it's like themed a certain way where it's like these are like ancient like frozen items where they're all like ice and winter themed, you know what I mean? Or like another one they're all haunted, and another one they're all demon, and another one they're all angel, another one they're all silly, you know what I mean? Like if like you that's what you want to do. You want to tell a story. You don't want to just be like, look at all these items. You want to hook them on the story. Let's hook them on like the possibility and the idea of what this is used for. Like I said, like if you had imagine one that was like a Valentine's themed one where it had to all have to do with like love and where it's like you had like these daggers that made someone fall in love with you, just whatever. But if it was a themed deck, then people can be really into it because they start getting ideas and they start telling themselves stories about your own product right away. And then they're like, oh, I could use that for that campaign or use it for that one game or whatever,
Yeah, man. But like, it'd be fun to do things that are more than just a card. So, like for example, like in the one you said, which I think was a wicked idea,
the skeleton one.
You roll the dice, and then even if you do it small, right? You roll a D4, and then one of 4 monsters appears. It'd be sweet to also like model those monsters, right? And say, you have this summoning whatever, and it's like a mixed. It's like it feels like almost like an ability for a video game where it's like you're playing League or whatever, and you cast the ability, and it's not just like a magical aura that does damage or whatever. It's like got models that spawn up out of the ground and like attack you with spikes, and it's like there's VFX and modeling, and there's more than just kind of there's more than just like the mathematics nuts and bolts of what that ability is doing. Like there's some sort of like fun art in there, and like if it were like for a tabletop thing, like a D&D RPG thing, then it'd be nice to like have the item card, have the models it spawns. If that applies, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Like the key one, it doesn't. You don't really need a model, but I think the demon spawner thing would be kind of cool. Although people, I guess, could put in whatever they wanted into that slot. Like probably be fun for DMs to like make their own shit there. Anyways, they probably would enjoy that even more. But I don't know. It'd be nice to do. Like maybe you have an idea that's a little bit more specific and does require a specific demon thing to like spawn because it's like themed to. You can theme it to like your item and make it.
Couldn't you just make them as cards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, the creatures that it spawns.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And then on the card, you can have like, oh, here's its like health, and here's its like its quirk. What am I trying to say? I sound dumb right now. It's a little like ability, like quirk. Yeah, quirk. Like it's a little quirk where it's like it does this thing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you've played Hearthstone?
Of course.
Yeah, because like the hunter class, like you could play this card where you have three chances of getting 3 different creatures. They're all random. They're all unique, and they all have their faults and their sorry, they all have their positives and negatives. Thing like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
and it's really fun to have dice rolls in there. Too. Like any excuse you
even a coin flip would be fun too.
Yeah.
50-50 coin flip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Well, that's what I think you should do. That's just me though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I may do it.
You may, or you just want to make all this other stuff.
Both.
Well, I this is what I think. Like the reason why I'm pushing for you to do these like weapons or whatever is I think if you stuck with that avenue for a certain amount of time, you generate people that are legit followers and legit people that enjoy your work, and I think in the long run it'll help out funding other projects. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. It's like still adjacent to the other creative.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you don't have to be labeled in as like only the card guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's true. No, those are good ideas. Give me more good ideas.
Okay, well, you better do it.
You know what I'm going to do for my homework? You know what I'm going to do for my homework? I'm going to make that card. I'm going to make that fucking card.
The skeleton card?
The roll whatever. I'm thinking of like a chaotic thing card.
Okay.
But essentially, it's going to be roll something like the nuts and bolts.
It should be like a potion where you like the wizard throws a potion on the ground, like a glass thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a glass, like concealed thing with liquid in it, and then in that liquid, you can maybe see like the 4 creatures or the 3 creatures or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, they're like inside the liquid.
Sort of, or whatever.
Swirling around in there.
Something like that, but like you see it almost kind of like it's like when you see like the apple from what's it called again? Sleeping Beauty. She eats the apple, right? And then in the apple, it kind of looks there's like a skull almost. You know what I'm talking about?
And there's a skull in the apple. I have to look at it again. It sounds familiar, but I don't know exactly how they did it.
You uncultured swine.
Dude, when I was a kid, those were girl movies.
No, they're enjoyable films for the family.
Yeah, I guess.
What was I gonna say? No, but just like kind of like when something's poison, they'll use like these stink rays, right? These stink lines, but like in the stink lines, there's like a skeleton. You know what I mean? So imagine that
vapor that's escaping.
Yeah, but imagine in the liquid, there's like kind of like these kind of creatures or like these like little faces or whatever or something, or like bodies or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then roll a d6, and it's like if you roll between a 1 and a 6, you get nothing. But if you roll between a 2 and a 5, you get. If you roll a 2, you get this, and if you roll a 5, I don't know what you would have to figure that out yourself, but or like I said, or a coin flip. It could be like a 50-50 thing where like if you throw it on a creature, it turns into a chicken or it turns into a rock golem.
Mm-hmm.
golem or whatever.
Yeah, I have an idea now.
Okay.
I think,
Cool.
dude, I think this idea. Gosh, I get so inspired by things. I think
Write it down.
I think this idea is so good that let me tell you how good I think it is.
Well,
I think you could do.
It doesn't matter if it's fucking good. You gotta like run with it and do it. You know what I mean?
I think like because have you ever seen like?
And you gotta do it 100 times.
Well, yeah, that's like you're familiar with like the the dice, the D&T set of dice. You got a D20, you got a
Very
D12,
aware
you
of
got
the
a,
dice. Yes.
you got another D10, you got a D8, you got a D6, you got a D4. You could do a spell for each for like the dice set. So something that incorporates like without getting the mechanics, something that like incorporates a D4 roll, a D6 roll, a blah 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 roll. Then it's like you could sell. It's like a nice package of like, oh, you have like a magic item for each die kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it feels like a very complete package because it's like, oh, this one, I don't know, it's like your set of dice is such a common and like what's the word?
It's like a hockey stick. It's like a hockey stick for a hockey player. It's like this is my tool. This is like my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like a good pair of shoes for runners or a basketball player. You know what I mean? It's like these are my this is my gear.
What you bring to every session, right? Yeah. So that's a good idea because it's hard to like. It's fun making cards, and my focus before was just like I just want to make doing the dumb thing. I just want to have an inventory of loot, And
yeah, you're like
really
+1 attack.
It was even less creative than that. It was just literally like the statistics of the weapon, right?
Yeah.
So
because you do like that stuff because like you showed so much enthusiasticness when you were doing those tiles and trying to make a story and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can still do that in the item department where you can be like, oh, here's this story of this wizard that was or like I don't know this haunted bag that gives unlimited bread because the guy that had it was like a glutton, but it's unlimited bread. But when you eat it, you become like you get food and you get rid of your hunger or whatever, but you become fat really quick, and you know what I mean, just something ridiculous like that. You know what I mean? Like you can like make a whole story out of this item, and then from the story make a rolling mechanic or some sort of mechanic where it could be like or it could be like a cursed item too, where it's like, oh, once you do this thing, every time you roll a 2, your character does this or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be like a permanent thing, like because like Magic the Gathering. So they have instances, sorcery, enchantments, and then like creatures and a couple others mumbo jumbo. So like a sorcery is like you do it on your turn. An instant, it happens instantly. An enchantment, it's like a thing that sticks around. So you could still apply those like 3 mechanics to like any kind of card or item or something.
Any turn-based game kind of can make use of those mechanics, right? And like RPGs, tabletop RPGs are totally that. Yeah. That's cool, man. Wow, it's good stuff. I feel like I should be writing this down.
Yeah, you should.
You're on fire today.
I am, because I've been thinking about you, and you're always fucking doing everything, and you're always hopping around. So I'm just like, dude, just stick to something.
Yeah.
I don't want you to do a Kickstarter like me. By Kickstarter, I mean like do it so soon. Like what I should have done is I should have just started pumping out models on Thingiverse and on Reddit. I found a new Reddit page, by the way, it's all about 3D printing for Warhammer 40K, which is like the people I'm like aiming at, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
So I found a Reddit and it just started and there's like only like 200 people on it. So it's like, shit, this is the spot. Anyways, but yeah, like if you just made artwork and gave out free artwork and stuff like that for like a good supple amount of time. I don't think I've ever used supple in my life. a good supple amount of time. And then you're like, hey guys, I'm running a Patreon, and I release a card, once a week, because right now, and you can have, because they have those little goal things where it's like, how much money would you have to generate, and then this happens, right? So then you can have like, if you're making this much money per like, per release or whatever, you're like, I'll quit my job and I'll try doing this thing full time. And then, you can also talk about in your Patreon, like, oh, I have these other ideas, because people like, because it's kind of like, there go me saying like Wilhelm. It's kind of like, so when Apple II was being made and like Apple was being made, they had people that were like investors, and the investors were just kind of like people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they would go to these little conventions, these little Apple conventions, and they would talk to Bill Gates. And then I remember watching a video, and a guy was like, one of the guys in the audience, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And like, what makes, like, we really like the product, but people are not really responding well with the product right now and stuff like that. And like Bill Gates was like, okay, blah, blah, this is what we're doing. This is what I have in plan. And like, and then he's like, kind of like convincing his investors, which is just technically what our investors are followers, sort of, you know what I mean? Or your patrons are your investors.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is my idea I want. If you want any feedback, like give me feedback or whatever, or stuff like that. But this is what I'm going to like try to do and stuff like that. And then your patrons will be like, get excited. And then they'll start talking about it, like, yeah, I follow this person or whatever. And like, I get these cool cards. And then they show the cards to their other D&D pals or their other, Pathfinder, companions. And they're like, oh, sick, I want to get those cards too. And then before you know it, they you tell two people, and then those two people tell another two people, and then those four people tell another two people each, and it just goes da, 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 you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I should have done that with the models, and that's what I'm gonna be trying to do after this Kickstarter.
So more free models, you think? Like you would have made, I guess, while you were working, you should have made more free models.
Yeah. I should have been like releasing like a model out a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been
what I mean? Yeah, and then then you generate this group of people that are like, oh, I passed 400, by the way, on Thingiverse, which is good. I think it's great.
That's amazing, actually. Yeah, Thingiverse is pretty. It's dog shit of a website as it is. It's like
428. That's what I got.
Still a big deal. Still a big deal.
Yeah. 428. We're looking at over 300 downloads for my last model, which is pretty good, I think, because I only released it out 2 days ago. So that's pretty good.
Mm.
So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, dog.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
It's good thoughts. Thoughts.
And all those thoughts are great and all, but if you don't hang on long enough, nothing will come of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's
well, maybe I'll do some planning. I'll think about this.
Do the math. Yeah. Do some math. Because I keep saying like, for example, it becomes kind of overbearing because you'll get all these ideas of like grandeur, like, oh, I do this,
and I do that, scales the idea up a little
and then
bit.
and then it becomes like, what the fuck am I doing, or what the hell happened? You know what I mean? Like, but if you do the math, then you kind of have a better, I guess, kind of layout. You know what I mean? Like David Goggins, he I don't know if he holds it still, but he had the record for the most pull-ups done in one day, which was like over 5,000 or 4,000 pull-ups, which is insane. You know what I mean? And he even he dislocated his wrists the second time he attempted to it, so he had to do it 3 times.
Yeah.
To try to get the record, but anyways, he said he did the math on it, and the math was he can do 5 pull-ups a minute. How many pull-ups could he do at 5 pull-ups a minute? And then take so does 5 pull-ups and take a minute rest. Do 5 pull-ups, take a minute rest. Like, you know what I mean? He like did the math on that and like did the calculations, and then he did it, and he failed, but he still like did it again and like recalculated, and like then he fucking did the world record for it. You know what I mean? And I think the same could be applied to like this card idea, or like me with my Kickstarter I'm trying to do. Should have did a lot more planning. Well, I did do.
That's called project planning, my friend.
Yeah, man. It's that's why there's people's job. There's jobs in the industry, of the video game industry, and especially the film industry, because they do not leak any money. Like they make sure everything is like, okay, everything has to be perfectly put in, because if anybody works overtime, it's going to kill the project.
Yeah, like there's the three kind of pillars of project management. You got your scope, your capacity, and your delivery schedule. In the pull-ups, the delivery schedule, 1 day. The scope is 5,000 pull-ups, and the capacity is one guy, one.
Yeah.
So then it's like, so then he decides to break it down by hour, and that's exactly the way a project gets planned. You know, I mean, you don't plan it in a way such that you're dislocating your wrists to complete something.
I just recently, sorry to cut you off. I keep cutting you off. I'm on a roll, goddammit. You can't stop me.
Do it.
I recently got into this podcast called Cool Moms.
That's hilarious, man.
I know. It's this comedian I really like, and she's a mom, and she just talks. She has a other podcast that's called Your Mom's House with her husband, and they're both comedians. But she has another podcast where it's just like her talking about being a mom and just like silly stuff like that. I just think it's really interesting, because it's like, oh wow, that's kind of, I never thought about, because I don't have kids, and she talks about these scenarios like that you kind of like you run into as a parent, and she, you know, she's a comedian, so she makes it funny. So that's why I enjoy watching her, or listening to her rather. And she had a friend on, and this is the thing, she brings friends on that have like nothing to do with comedy, or they're like not in the picture, like they're not in the social media or anything. They're just like her friends. Yeah. And she brought this one lady on, and she's a project manager.
Oh, cool.
She said something really, really interesting. It's like Pinterest board is one of the most like things you need at the beginning of anything you're making. Like if you're making like if you're preparing. Jesus Christ, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry. I'm resting my feet on my subwoofer, and it's got squishy little pads it sits on. And
anyways, Pinterest, and make a Pinterest board of like all the stuff you're kind of looking for of the thing you're trying to do. So like if you're doing a party, and there's like little things you want in the party, like decorations or like little goodie bags, or certain things you want to serve. And so there's like kind of like already a scope and an idea of like, oh, this is what it can look like. You know what I mean? And you can then put your own flavor in it, and, you know, make it to what you're trying to do. And which is essentially reference gathering.
Yeah, it's like making your pure ref page.
Yeah. But I think what I should have done, I should have printed it out. I should have like made like pages and like printed it out and like put it on my boards and stuff like that. But hey, to be honest, this Kickstarter has been through like all over the place, and I switched it up so much. You know what I mean? Like,
it seems like you have a pretty, like, your items seem in style with one another.
They do, but I added the gross bile stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason why I added it, because like I didn't have a story element, and I was like, I need a story here. I need something to like get people kind of a little excited with this story.
Yeah, that's true. Because before that, it was sci-fi terrain.
Yeah, it was like just sci-fi. But this is like now my story is it's this district of like an energy plant that's like run down, and something's there now that's being taken over, and there's something just below the surface that's happening here. Well, no, it's like coming out, and it's getting infected, like it's infecting the place. You know what I mean? But anyways, but yeah. So, and she was just kind of like talking about that, and then she was breaking down like, okay, there's like hard cuts, and there's like your ultimatums, and there's I don't know. It was just an interesting podcast, and I'll probably re-listen to it just to hear this lady talk about her ways of planning. Yeah. So that's what I think you should do, man. You should make a big Pinterest board or big board of just like different items, different item ideas, different like pictures of different items and stuff like that, and like maybe like pictures of card decks of like different card decks. Be like, oh, this is a whatever or something like that, or even magic cards. Like if you find a magic card that has like a really cool ability or like something interesting, you're like, oh, that's cool. I don't know how I'll use this. You know, you can put that up there too, or even like check out cards from other games like Hearthstone or other fucking card games. There's a bazillion of them out there. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I actually need to reformat all my cards I've made because I designed them for like
little baby ones.
Yeah, they're like board game sized cards for like Monopoly. Imagine Monopoly cards like that size is like that ratio, which is kind of small. So I think I'm gonna just make them more of like a playing card or like a magic card size like that. I should have used that size from the beginning, but
yeah. Well, there's some people that do weird shapes because then they can well, this one guy I follow on Instagram, I forget his name. I showed him to you. I think you follow him. He makes like he did a Kickstarter where like I guess you can like make your own kind of like cards. Like he did a thing where it's like I don't know how he did it, where he just. Anyways, I have to re-look into that. But anyways, yeah. Sorry, what did you want to talk about before I went on this rant?
Well, it's okay. I was just a backup topic. Talking the backer rewards, but
backer rewards.
I think we had a fine show without it.
All right then. Should close it a little early. There's like
no, it's 8:00.
It's 8:00. Yeah. But it's only been 57, Antoine.
Yeah.
57 minutes. I think that's fine though. It's 57 minutes, close to an hour.
Yeah.
All right, then. Close it down.
Shut her down, my friend. Where can we find you? Is that how you want to shut it down?
No. I'm supposed to say thank you. Thank you for joining us another episode of Playing the Artist. Where you can oh man, I fucked it up here. Hey, if you want to help out the show, you can hit that little subscribe button and press the little bell, even though I just went on a rant about why I hate the bell. Please hit it and leave a like and a comment.
No, dude. Hit the bell, but turn off your Chrome notifications because I don't want the show to annoy you. I just want it to be like
watched.
Something you mildly enjoy.
No, we want people to enjoy. Period.
I can't control how much they enjoy what we say.
That's true.
Sam and Pete have to have a good video so that we can parrot that good video and it comes out okay by the time we're done.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway. Where can we find you?
I didn't even say what time the show is. Every Tuesday at 7 Pacific time. This is when we go live. So if there's people out there that want to wake up at that time. Alex, where can we find you?
Yeah. So number one place to go is Tiger Skull RPG on Facebook. You'll get there and you'll notice it says Dungeons and Tigers. And that's where the latest news and notes appear. And I should start really posting links to this show there so that people who are on that page watch this show. Maybe somebody will.
You can keep it separate. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like I don't see Pete and Sam like on their websites and stuff like that. I don't see them.
Yeah, that's
about
true.
This, you know what I mean?
That's
it's
true.
Like a very separate thing.
Yeah.
Because like we're not trying to.
That could be obnoxious.
Yeah, it could be very obnoxious. I think because like the thing is like for them, they're like the One Fantastic Week show. Like that's the audience for that is for people that are creators And then the stuff they make on their websites are people that enjoy those paintings or enjoy those things. You know what I mean? Like it's a completely different world.
That's right. Yeah.
Look at that. We're at an hour. Anyways, where else can we find
You're
you?
right. Never mind that. Yeah, Tiger Skull RPG on Instagram. And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, there's Thingiverse as well. I got a couple models on there. Yeah. Alex Kola, ALEXKOLA. One word. Put it in the search bar. And you find 4 models. Try them. Print them on a resin printer and then let me know what they look like. Because I'm always interested when that happens. That's so cool.
Yeah, I want a resin printer.
Yeah, me too.
I want a resin printer, dog.
I feel like if I had a resin printer, I'd make crazier shit because I'd be like, this will print. This isn't need as many supports. This will be strong, this thing. This weird little spike I'm making here, that'll hold up just fine.
For sure. Anyways, you can find me on the Instagrams, which is Forbidden Prints. That's Forbidden_Prints. Or you can find me on the tweeties, which is Forbidden Prints, one word. Or you go to Thingiverse, where I got a bunch of models for you to print if you got a home 3D printer, which is Forbidden Prints, one word. And you can go to my art station, which is just my name, which is just down here. You can check out my old work if you'd like. And yeah, support your local artists. Sounds fun.
That's it. All you
That's
can do is show affection for now. We don't have.
Yeah, that's about it.
No
yeah. Anyways,
transactions happen.
I'll be in Saskatchewan next episode, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it will.
I have to go out and get
windy and flat.
I have to go out and get a Ethernet cord.
Oh, you do.
Anyways, bye, ciao. Have a good week.
Okay.
All right. Ciao,
Later,
dude.
homie. Yeah.
We'll talk again.
Okay. Bye.